problem.
All right. Now, me personally, I don't give a fuck. I talk about everything. The way I look at it, if it gets out on there on recording, that's one more thing that gets out to the people at large that can't get stopped.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, so I figure I got this UCC workbook. This thing goes over all the friggin' articles. So, hold up. Let me share it up on the screen. How the fuck do I share my shit? There we go.
Where'd you get your UCC workbook from?
You know, I can't remember which of the bazillion downloads it came in.
Okay.
It would have been either Stop Pirates, Tim Turner, or Winston Shrout's stuff. Because I had, for a long, long time, I had like 50 gigs, everything Winston's ever done. And Dean Clifford, too, everything.
Okay.
And then I lost a lot of it when I had a computer crash on me, but I was able to save some files.
Did they ever let Winston Stroud out?
Winston Shrout never went in. His birth certificate went in. But he was making videos when they was saying that he was locked up.
Hmm.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Is it large enough for you, or should I zoom? I'll give it 5 more minutes, and then we'll get started. So we could do this one of 2 ways, since it's going to be up on the screen. Y'all could just listen to me read, or we could take turns. Whatever you guys want to do. I'm trying to make this as relaxing an environment as possible, while still trying to keep a solid format. Like, I don't want to get too off on anything. I want to try and make sure that the information that we want to get out in a given time frame, which I'm trying to go for 2 to 3 chapters a night. Probably going to do 2 tonight because it's a little bit later than what I did the other day. But so, I mean, the goal is just get a little chunk out every week and then study. I still haven't decided if we want to maybe do a discussion in the group. Should we do like an end of the week discussion or something in the actual book club group where we go over the material that we've covered for the week? That kind of thing. I'm going to toss that around. Then the other thing is I'm going to, probably in the next couple of weeks, see how everybody's responding to doing 3 books all simultaneously, throughout the week. I'm doing Sunday, I'm doing the Estate and Trust Administration for Dummies. And then I do Wednesday, I'll be doing this. And then Fridays, I'll be doing the new jewel that I got thanks to Pito's recommendation. And the funny thing is, when I bought this book too, you could tell that all the motherfuckers that was watching Pito's video just been all over fucking Amazon, because everybody that bought this book here bought all the other fucking books that he fucking suggested in his videos too.
How much was that book?
What's up?
How much was that book?
$30.
Okay.
Secured transactions for the practitioner.
Okay.
I've only skimmed this motherfucker, but I tell you what, this shit is balls, bro.
Yeah.
It has little notes and pro tips, practice tips. It has along the bottom of each page, it has cliff notes of, you know, different statutes and all kinds of shit, and it covers Article 9 like in a really, really solid fashion. This is going to be good because it's each and every article, and then a little bit on how to work with it, some study stuff. It's all right. It's 7:10. I'm going to start off the meeting with my normal little ritual. I'm going to play some Tupac Blasphemy because that's my jam. Every time I listen to that shit, I realize that motherfucker was a secured creditor and he was telling everybody about it, and that's probably half the reason why they capped his ass. Oh, these motherfuckers took the video down.
What song by Tupac again? What are you talking about?
Blasphemy.
No.
That one, and I think the other track that I heard where he dropped some lines that make me think that he was a secured creditor, was Last Motherfucker Breathing.
Know who else I heard became a secured
Actually, he
creditor?
got a lot of.
Frank Ocean.
Spring Ocean.
Yep, he disappeared off the map, didn't he?
Yep.
Gone. Ain't performing no more. Done.
I still think he faked his death just like Michael Jackson did.
I don't know.
All right, so thank you to the gods. Thank you to my parents. Thank you to everybody that's brought me to this point. My uncle, my trustee. Thank you to all you cats for joining me tonight. Burn some incense, light a bong, let this track ride out for a minute. Anybody want to smoke with me? Hop on camera. Let's burn a bowl together.
You smoking that mid-range? Or you smoking midi?
Oh, hell no. I smoke high grade, baby. Yo, I got some Blue Dream growing. I got some King Tut growing.
Okay. Good. What state you in, John?
I'm in Maine right now.
Okay.
From Arizona originally. All right, so how y'all want to do this tonight? Do you want to take turns reading, or you just want to let me ride it out and hope I don't fuck up too much?
Ride it out till we get bored of hearing your ass.
That works for me. Because I tell you what, the last time my throat got dry after the first hour.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, how the fuck Pito do it? 5 hours on that motherfucking mic. What the fuck?
Yeah, Peter, read your ass a goddamn book.
What's up?
Peter, read your ass a goddamn book.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Good. Somebody got to read them.
Yeah.
You know? Only way we getting out of this shit alive. All right, so Article 1 is going to be going over the general provisions. Article 2 is going to be the sales. Article 2A is going to be your leases. Article 3 will be your negotiable instruments. Article 4 is going to be your bank deposits. Article 4A, fund transfers. Article 5, letters of credit. Article 6, bulk transfers and revised bulk sales. Article 7, warehouse receipts, bills of lading, and other documents of title. Article 8, investment securities. Article 9, secured transactions. That's the big boy shit. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So, UCC Article 1, General Provisions. Part 1 of the General Provisions, subsection 1-101 is going to be the short titles. I'm just going to not even bother saying the subsections. I'm going to just say the scope of title and keep it going that way. Just no need to keep saying the subsections and shit. Construction of Uniform Commercial Code to promote its purposes and policies. Applicability of supplemental principles of law. 104 is going to be construction against implied repeal. Severability. Use of singular and plural gender. Section captions. 108 is going to be relation to electronic signatures in Global and National Commerce Act. Part 2, general definitions and principles of interpretation. Subsection 201, general definitions. Notice of knowledge. Least distinguished from security interest. Value. Reasonable time. Seasonableness. 206 is going to be presumptions. Everybody will be getting a copy of this. I'm going to post it up in the group. So that'll be there. So everybody will get to go along on their own time. 301, territorial applicability. Parties, power to choose applicable law. 302 is going to be variation by agreement. Subsection 1-303, course of performance, course of dealing, and usage of trade. 304, obligation of good faith. That's going to be a great one to read through. 305, remedies of liberally administered. Remedies to be liberally administered, sorry. Waiver of renunciation, of claim of right after breach, prima facie evidence by third-party documents, performance or acceptance under reservation of rights, option to accelerate at will, subordinated obligations under subsection 1-310. All right, 101, short titles. This act may be cited as the Uniform Commercial Code. Pretty simple and self-explanatory there. This article may be cited as Uniform Commercial Code General Provisions. Subsection 1/101-102, scope of article. This article applies to the transaction to the extent that it is governed by any other article of the Uniform Commercial Code. 103, construction of Uniform Commercial Code to promote its purposes and policies, applicability of supplemental principles of law. Subsection A, the Uniform Commercial Code must be liberally construed and applied to promote its underlying purposes and policies, which are 1, to simplify, clarify, and modernize the law governing commercial transactions. 2, to permit the continued expansion of commercial practices through custom usage and agreements of the parties. And 3, to make uniform law among the various jurisdictions. Subsection B, unless displaced by the particular provisions of the Uniform Commercial Code, the principles of law and equity, including the law merchant and the law relative to capacity to contract, principal and agent, estoppel, fraud, misrepresentation, duress, coercion, mistake, bankruptcy, and other validating or invalidating cause supplement its provisions. Subsection 1-104, construction against implied repeal. The Uniform Commercial Code, being a general act intended as unified coverage of its subject matter, no part of it shall be deemed to be impliedly repealed by subsequent legislation if such construction can reasonably be avoided. And feel free, guys, if I fucking butcher a word, because I am by no means, I mean, I'm a bit of a wordsmith on the mic, but you know, you get into this shit and you can get fucked up sometimes. So if y'all know a way to pronounce a word and I'm fucking it up, please don't feel rude and correct me. Severability. If any provision or clause of the Uniform Commercial Code or its application to any person or circumstance is held invalid, the invalidity, there we go, does not affect the other provisions or applications of the Uniform Commercial Code. That one got me in the last video too, for some fucking reason, which can be given effect without the invalid provision or application. And to this end, the provisions of the Uniform Commercial Code are severable. Go over that again. If any provision or clause of the Uniform Commercial Code or its application to any person or circumstance is held invalid, the invalidity does not affect other provisions or applications of the Uniform Commercial Code which can be given effect without the invalid provision or application. And to this end, the provisions of the Uniform Commercial Code are severable. Okay. All right. I see what it's saying. Cut off a head, another one grows up.
Mm-hmm.
Use of singular and plural genders. In the Uniform Commercial Code, unless the statutory context otherwise requires words in the singular number include the plural, requires 1. Words in the singular number include the plural, and those in the plural include the singular. And 2, words of any gender also refer to any other gender. So I wonder if this multi-gender stuff that they're trying to pull has anything to do with contract law. Section captions, subsection 1-107. Section captions are part of the Uniform Commercial Code. Da-da-da. Relation to the Electronic Signatures and Global National Commerce Act. This act modifies, limits, and supersedes the Federal Electronic Signatures in Global and National Commerce Act 15 USC section 7001 except that nothing in this article modifies, limits, or supersedes section 7001 subsection C of that act or authorizes electronic delivery of any of the notices described in section 7003 subsection B of that act. Part 2, General Definitions and Principles of Interpretation, subsection 1-201, General Definitions, subsection A. Unless the context otherwise requires words or phrases defined in this section or in the additional definitions contained in other articles of the Uniform Commercial Code that apply to particular articles or parts thereof, have the meanings stated. Subsection B, subject to definitions contained in other articles of the Uniform Commercial Code that apply to particular articles or parts thereof. 1, action in the sense of a judicial proceeding includes recoupment, counterclaim, set-off, suit and equity, and other proceedings in which rights are determined. 2, aggrieved party means a party entitled to pursue a remedy. 3, agreement, a distinguished form, separately incorporated foreign branch of a bank. 8, burden of establishing a fact means the burden of persuading the tier of the fact that the existence of the fact is more probable than non-existence. 9, buyer in ordinary course of business means a person that buys goods in good faith without knowledge that the sale violates the rights of another person in the goods and the ordinary course from a person, other than a pawnbroker in the business of selling goods of that kind. A person buys goods in the ordinary course if the sale to the person comports with the usual or customary practices in the kind of business in which the seller is engaged or with the seller's own usual or customary practices. A person that sells oil, gas, or other minerals at the wellhead or mine head is a person in the business of selling goods of that kind. A buyer in ordinary course of business may buy for cash by exchange of other property or on secured or unsecured credit, and may acquire goods or documents of title under a pre-existing contract for sale. Only a buyer that takes possession of the goods or has the right to recover the goods from the seller under Article 2 may be a buyer in ordinary course of business. Buyer in ordinary course of business does not include a person that acquires goods in a transfer in bulk or as security for or in total or partial satisfaction of a money debt. 10. Conspicuous. With reference to a term, means so written, displayed, or presented that a reasonable person against which it is to operate ought to have noticed it. Whether a term is conspicuous or not is a decision for the court. Conspicuous terms include the following. A a heading in capitals equal to or greater in size than the surrounding text, or contrasting type, font, or color to the surrounding text of the same or lesser size, and B, language in the body of a record or display in larger type than the surrounding text or in contrasting type, font, or color to the surrounding text of the same size, or set off from the surrounding text of the same size by symbols or other marks that call attention to the language. That one was rough. 11. Consumer means an individual who enters into transaction primarily for personal, family, or household purposes. 12. Contract, as distinguished from agreement, means the total legal obligation that results from the parties' agreement as determined by the Uniform Commercial Code as supplemented by any other applicable laws. 13. Creditor includes a general creditor, a secured creditor, a lien creditor, and any representative of creditors, including an assignee for the benefit of creditors, a trustee in bankruptcy, a receiver in equity, an executor or an administrator of an insolvent debtor's or assigner's estate. That was a good one. 14. Defendant includes a person in the position of defendant in a counterclaim, cross-claim, or third-party claim. 15. Delivery